Hello everyone, welcome to the video series for class 11 computer science. In this video we are going to continue the chapter flow of control, and in this video we are going to start the new topic which is repetition construct. So repetition construct allows us to repeat certain code of statements again and again. So let us see how we can do that. So basically repetition is also known as iteration. So here we will have a set of statements and which will be repeatedly executed. Now in which situation we will use repetition? For example, if we want to print 1. Okay. Now suppose I am writing code here. Suppose we want to print 1. Okay. So we have written 1. And we will execute it. Suppose we want to print 1 and 2. Okay, we will write it like this. Okay. Suppose we want to print something repeatedly again and again. Suppose we want to print numerical 1. Okay. Print 1. Okay. It will give you this integer 1. We want to print 1 and 2 both. It will give you 2. Suppose we want to print from 1 to 10, we want to print from 1 to 100, we want to print from 1 to 1000. So what do you think? Will it be efficient to write all those print statement 10 times, 100 times, 1000 times? It should not be. So for those type of statements, for those type of situations where we have to do the same time again and again, then the loop or repetition is the best solution. Okay, so when we are talking about repetition, we are having some looping constructs. Looping constructs provide us the facility to execute some statements repeatedly. Now this repetition will also depend upon certain condition. So the statement will execute again and again as long as our condition remains true. And if the condition becomes false, then the loop terminates. Okay, so we have to be very careful about that what we have written in the condition so that our loop terminates at certain point of time. Otherwise it will become an infinite loop. So there must be terminated condition also. So we can say that repetition also involves condition. As long as the condition will remain true, the set of statement is going to be executed, and as soon as the condition becomes false, the loop will terminate. Okay, so when we are talking about repetition constructs, Python provides us two types of loop. First one is for loop and second one is while loop. Okay, now let us discuss what is for loop and then we will come to the part of while loop. So basically for loop is used when we know that how many times we want to iterate our statement. Okay, if it is known well in advance that what is the number of repetition, how many times we want to repeat the code, if it is known in advance, then we are using for loop. Here you can see this last point is it is known in advance the number of times the loop will execute. Okay, so here what happens, this for statement is used to iterate over a range of value or a sequence. Means how many times the loop is going to execute, it is specified by what range of values we have specified. So the for loop will execute for each of the items in range or the sequence. So with every repetition, with every iteration, the control variable checks whether each of the values in the range have been traversed or not. When all the items of the range or the sequence will be traversed, then the loop will be terminated. Okay, so that is the way how for loop is going to execute. If we can see this flow of control, we can see that for every loop, we will have three elements. And what are those three elements? The first will be initialization statement, then the test expression, which is also known as condition, and then we must have our increment or decrement part. Okay, so that I will tell you. So here you can see that when we will start it, we will have initialization statement, and then we have to check the condition. If it is true, then our body of the loop will execute. So as soon as this condition will remain true, this code will be repeated again and again. And as soon as it will be false, then we will come out from the loop. So our loop will terminate when this condition will be false. Okay. So here you can see this is the syntax of writing for loop. For is a keyword. Here we have to choose one control variable, then in, and then we have to specify the sequence, or we can use range function, and here the indented statements. Okay, let me give you one example that how it is going to be executed. Suppose we are having one control variable I, and I have written one sequence list. Okay, and I want to print all the items of our list. Here you have to specify a sequence. Means your sequence may be a list, maybe tuple, maybe string, or it may be randomly generated sequence using range function. So how we can randomly generate sequence of a number using range function, that I will tell you in this video later on. So here we can see that we are having range of values, and the range of values are 2, 4, 6, 8. Now we want to print I. Now what it will do, it will take all the values of our sequence one by one. Okay, so it will traverse through all the elements of our sequence. First it will traverse to 2, then 4, then 6, then 8. So it will traverse through the sequence till it traverses through all the elements of the sequence. So one by one it will traverse to the all elements, and this indented statement will be executed. So here we want to print the value of I, so it will print all the elements. Now here you can see it will print 2, 4, 6, 8. Suppose I want to print twice of the value, then here it will give you like this. Now this can be done with your string also. Suppose you have written here Python and you want to print all the characters of the string. Now it will give you all the characters separately. Okay. So in this way our for loop executes. Now this was the sequence of numbers. If we may use list, we may use tuple, we may use string. But if we want to generate our sequence randomly, then we can use range function. This range function is very important. Now we have to see that what is the syntax of range function. In a range function, basically we are having three parameters: start, stop, and step. Now you can see that start and step have been put in square bracket. It means these two are optional. Optional means need not to give it. Okay. So if we are not specifying the value of start, then it will be considered as 0. If we have not specified the value of step, then it will be considered as 1. So default value of start is 0. Default value of step is 1. Now it will create a list containing sequence of integers from the given start value up to the stop value. So stop value will not be included. It will give you stop minus 1 value. Okay, with a difference of given step value. So step value, by default step value is 1. So here already I told you that start and step parameters are optional. So if we have not specified start value, then it will be 0, and if we have not specified the step value, then by default it will be 1, and all these three parameters must be of integer. Now this step value can be positive, can be negative, but it can't be 0. Now let us try to understand these concepts using our example. Now see, suppose I am writing here for I in range, and if I am writing here 5. Now what does it mean? This range function will generate a list of numbers starting from 0 up to 5 minus 1, means it will have sequence of numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5. This will remain excluded. Okay, and since we have not specified the step value, by default the step value will be taken as 1. So first it will take 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and if we will print it, we will have the value from 0 to 4. Here you can see 0 to 4. If we want to give, suppose I am giving start value 1, stop value 5, and we have given step value 2. Now what we will have? We will have the output as 1. Now the next will not be 2 because we have taken the step as 2. So we have to jump to the second element, not to the immediate next element. So first 1, then 3, and then last will be 5, which will remain excluded. So output will be only 1 and 3. Okay, so in this way range function executes. So you can see that if we want to keep it negative value, now let us start with 5 and go to 1, and then we will have minus 2. Now what will happen? We are having here negative value because we want it to be printed in decreasing order. So first 5 will be printed, then 3 will be printed, and then 1 will be printed because we have to exclude this one. This will remain excluded. So execute this one, 5 and 3 will be the output. So here we have seen that this may be positive, this step value may be positive, this step value may be negative, but it can't be 0. So this was all about for loop. I hope you have understood about for loop, that how we can write for loop and how this range function executes. So if you find this video useful, don't forget to like it, share it, subscribe it. Thank you for watching.